So this is the homework file. Now, just try to pay attention and see what you can pick up, and you can get all the answers this way too, since you weren't fully in class the whole time because of your internet there. So now, horizontal line, horizontal, it's flat like the horizon, and you graph a horizontal line when you see y equals a number. The horizontal is y equals a number. A vertical line, vertical is up and down, and you'll graph that when you see x equals a number. These are just a little bit of review from algebra and pre-algebra, or just algebra, I guess, since there was no pre-algebra. Because we're going to have to use them to do the reflections. So like on number 1, you look at that, x equals, we just said x equals is a vertical line. So you go to 2 on the x-axis and draw a vertical line right through there. Now, the reason that that's x equals 2, make a vertical line, is because if you pick any point, doesn't even have to be on an exact intersection, like right there, it's still 2 blocks over, 2 blocks over, 2 blocks over, anywhere you go. That's why when you see x equals, you draw a vertical line, because every single point on that line, the x coordinate is 2. So number 2 here, same idea, it's another x equals. So here's -3 on the x-axis. Draw a vertical. X equals is vertical. Now, number 3, y equals is horizontal. When you have y equals just a plain old number, horizontal. Here's 5 on the y-axis. Then you draw a horizontal line. And again, the reason why y equals forms a horizontal line is, look, every single part of this line that I just drew is 5 blocks up. Every y coordinate on every part, every point of that line is 5. So likewise, y equals 1, horizontal line, there's 1. There's a horizontal line. Sometimes the way to remember this is if all you see is one letter, that's going to be the axis it'll cut through. So like with the horizontal lines I just did, I saw the letter Y, so I had to go through the y-axis like I did right there. On the vertical lines, you see X, only X, so you got to cut through the X-axis like we did just right there. Now I say when you only see X and Y, they're vertical and horizontal. It seemed a lot of people didn't remember that when you see both of them, like if you had this, you were to graph that real quick, would be diagonal. So both letters, both X and Y, you get a diagonal line. All you see is one letter, like on number 1, X equals 2, there's no Y there, vertical. All you see is Y, like on 3 and 4, it's horizontal. Now, like on 5, Y equals 0, it says what axis is it? Well, I see Y, so I got to cut through the Y-axis. And I know it's a horizontal line. So here's 0 high. There you go. I just drew blue over the x-axis. And 6, x equals 0, cut through the x-axis. Right at 0 right there. That's the y-axis. Now, I just thought I'd mention that real quick because some of the questions that they like to ask on the Regents, instead of saying y-axis or x-axis, they'll say like the line y equals 0. So you graph it and take a look. Oh yeah, that's the x-axis. Now, like I said, the reason that we reviewed those is now instead of reflecting either over just the x or y axis, you do it over these lines. Like here, x equals -2. That's just something you have to memorize. X equals a number is vertical. Like I said, maybe it might help. Here's -2 on the x. I got to cut through it. So I got to be a vertical line. Then it's just like what you did before. Now you pretend that purple line is the mirror. That line you just drew is the mirror. So if I go 1 to the mirror, I got to go another one. Be bright. So 8, reflection across y equals 1. Okay, well, there's the y-axis. There's 1. If I have to cut through that, it's got to be horizontal. So that tells you what your mirror is for doing the reflection. And here's t, so if I got to go up 1 to the mirror, go up another. I mean, this isn't really any different than what we did the other day. It's just instead of the mirror always being right in the center there with either the y or the x-axis, now it's a different line. So number 9 here, x equals 1. There's where x is 1 on the x-axis, so we cut through that with a vertical. Ooh, that was terrible. Let me retry that there. There we go. So that's the vertical line, x equals 1. That's my mirror. 1 to the mirror, go another one past it. Y equals 4. There it is. Horizontal line, 4 up. That's my mirror. So now I go down 1 to the mirror, go down another one. There's P prime. And 11. There's y equals 1. Because it's 1 right there on the y-axis, so you cut through it, horizontal line. Now you just do, like I said, you just do what we did before for like G, down 1, 2, 3 to the mirror, so go another 1, 2, 3. E is down 1, so down another 1. F, 1, 2, 3, 4, so go another 1, 2, 3, 4. And 12, here's y equals -2. So U is down 1 to the mirror, down another one past. Now, this next part, this part's a little different. It's a lot different. This is something you probably haven't seen much before. Now, when we take a look at these, we see all these little slashes in little arcs in the angles. Now, what that means, like if you're looking at a couple of triangles here, let's say we got 90, 40, and a 50. We got a 90, 40, and 50. Let's just say this is 3, 4, 5 little inches. So 3, 4, 5. What all those little curves and slashes mean, those indicate that those sides are equal. When you match them up on the two triangles, like 3, obviously 3 inches is the same as 3 inches, but what you do, put one slash maybe there. You put one slash on the one you start with. It wouldn't have to be that one. Someone could do the other sides if they want. Maybe put the one slash on the 4. Doesn't matter. Everyone's answers might be different. And then let's say we want to show that the sides that are 4 are equal. I have to use 2 now because the 4s are equal to each other, but they're not equal to the other side. So you can't use one slash again. You have to use 2. Now for like the 5, the 5s are equal to each other, but they're not equal to any other side. So you got to use another unique number of slashes there. Hash marks, they're called. Yeah, just to like repeat what's going on. Like, let's say you knew all of these sides were 3. You could put 1 on all of them because those are all the same. You only got to use 2 slashes when you have a different length. Let's say this side is 7. We'd have to give them 2. So what those do, what those little slashes do, they indicate the length of the side is the same. 2 sides of different triangles are equal. Works the same for the angles too. I don't know, maybe I'll start with the 40. I'll put one little arc there that's equal to the other 40. Now it seems kind of silly when I'm putting numbers here. The questions won't have numbers. I'm just trying to explain to you with them what this all means. Maybe with the 50, we'll do 2. Again, it could be different. Maybe you can put 2 on the 90. Everyone's answers might be different. So for the 90, maybe I'd put 3. So what this means again, like now if you take a look, the angle F would be the same as angle D. They both have the one little arc there. That means those two are equal to each other. If one of them is, say, 80 degrees, the other's 80 degrees. If you take a look at the sides, we have G to F here has 1 slash. That'll be the same as this HD, because that has 1 slash. Now, this congruent statement thing, here's a symbol for congruent. It's like an equal sign with a little squiggly above it. It's called a tilde. You have to name the triangle, meaning with the 3 letters. And let's say you start this triangle on the left here with F. So triangle F, then G, then that H. What a congruent statement in geometry is, on my other triangle now, I have to order the letters the same. F had 1 slash. So on the right triangle, I'm going to start with D, because that has 1 slash. Triangle D. And then G was second in my FGH. G has 2 slashes. There's 2 slashes. So in the second triangle, that's H. And then C is left. Now, what this means, why I just wrote it like that. If I didn't show you that picture of a triangle, since I'm saying these are congruent, you know F and D are equal. Those angles are equal. You know G and H are equal. You put them in the order where they will line up. So H and C are equal there. That way, if I don't give you the picture of the triangles, if they don't give it to you on the regions, that's how you know what parts go with what. So, didn't mean to erase the letters there. The H. There we go. So that's the answer for 13. So on 14, let's do the top triangle first. You could do any letter you want first. Let's say you pick T first. Triangle, T, maybe you want to spell Tud. There you go, Tud. Is congruent, meaning everything's exactly the same. Now on my bottom triangle here, I started with T on the top. It has 3. So I got to start with the 3/ angle on the bottom triangle when I name it. The angle T and the angle B, because they both have those 3 slashes, are equal. So triangle B. U was next. U has 2. So I got to go with C. And then D. Because both of them at D have 1 slash. Now again, what this means, like if I didn't give you those triangles so you can see all those slashes, from this statement, you would know, hey, like the angle that's at U would match the angle at C because they're both second. Whatever the degrees are for T would be the same for B. Likewise for D. So on 15, well, it's real easy to see when the triangles aren't connected. We got, pick a letter here on 15. Let's pick W. Maybe I'll go WUV. W-U-V. W, I started with W, 1 slash. So I got to start with K. U was next. That's got 3. So I got to match that up with L for 3. And V was last. That's got 2. So I got to match that up with J. Then 16. That's another J there. All right. So let's say we say K-I-J. K's got 3. Match that up with T. And then I has 1. Match that up there. Oops, excuse me. What am I doing here? V. And then J has 2. So you got to match that up with U because that's got 2. Seems a little weird, but we're going to start probably on Monday. Correspondence statements, proofs, and you got to be familiar with how the language and the symbols work here. Now on 17, this is the other way around. This is kind of the point of this. There are no markings on those triangles. There's no angle measurements, there's no inches, there's nothing. You gotta mark them. You gotta mark the ones that match, that are congruent, that measure the same. And you do that by the letters. So the top triangle, VWX, VWX, that's the top triangle. Angle V on the top one goes in with angle V on the bottom. That's the first one, so I'll just start with 1/. W matches up with W since that letter is second in both. So I'll do 2. And then you can't connect them. Like what I mean by that is you can't go like this. That's marking that whole angle. You got to mark them separately in each triangle. X and G are last, so they match. So I'll use 3 there. Again, you got to use a different number of slashes because X and G are equal to each other, but they're not equal to that V or that W. Now for the sides here, what you do is you take 2 letters at a time. VW matches VW. Wow, we knew that anyway, since they're sharing that side. The bottom of the top triangle is the top of the bottom triangle, and we know something's equal to itself, but still got to mark it anyways. Then do the next 2 letters. WX is the same as WG. So here's W to X. I got to use 2. W to G, got to use 2. That means those 2 sides are equal. Maybe if the top one is 10, the bottom one's also 10. That's what this means. We don't know that though, so I'll get rid of those. And then, I mean, it's just the other side, but the way you do that, skip that middle letter. So you get every possible combination. VX, there's V to X, and V to G. V to G. So 18, HIG, here's H, matches up with C. So I'll put 1 for each of those. Those are equal to each other. We don't know if they're equal to any of the others. The second letter in each side, I and B, so those are equal to each other. I gotta use 2 because I don't know if they're equal to any of the other ones. And then the last one, the last letter in each, J and A, so those match. Now, for the sides, again, HI matches CB. So here's H to I. I'll start with 1. That matches up with C to B. Oops, 1, geez. Then do the second 2 letters, IJ, BA. IJ, I'll do 2. BA, I'll do 2. Then the other matching letters here, H to J, C to A. H to J, we have to do that, it's the last side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Again, what that means. The triangle on the left, let's say this one is 7. The 2 slashes on the right, that's 7. I mean, we don't know it's 7, I'll get rid of that. That's what this all means. 19. WV, okay, WVU and JIH, so W's first, J is first. Those match. V is second, I is second. Those match. I got to use 2 though. They match each other. Who knows if they match any of the other? Third letter, U and H. I'll give 3. Now, an alternative way to do the sides, rather than use the letters, if you don't like that, is you can look at the angle marks that we just made. There's the 1 and the 2 slash angles, so you can match that up with the 1 and the 2 there. If I go VU, 2 to 3 slashes for the angles, 2 to 3 slashes, there's 2 slashes, there's 3. Those match, and then the other ones have to be the 3. Some people don't like doing it with the letters for the sides for some reason. So you just do it like that. You don't have to though, whatever is easiest for you. Ooh, this one looks weird. They're joined together at K, so let's see here. I in the first triangle matches T in the second. J in the first matches K in the second. So it's got to be the K to the right, because it's the K that's part of that second triangle. Then we use K again, but this time it's on the left side. So it's got to be that K, the angle that's on the left triangle. That matches up. Then just 2 letters. First 2 letters, I to J, I to J, 1 slash. That matches T to K, T to K, 1 slash. Now do the second 2 letters, J to K. I'm going to put 2 there. K to R, 2. And then the last possible combination of the letters here the first and last, IK, TR. So there's IK, 1, 2, 3, TR, 1, 2, 3. And again, what this means, let's say we pick the blue angle here, the J. I don't know, maybe that's 37 degrees. What that means is down there at K, that's also 37. Those are equal. They might not be equal to the other ones, though they're equal to each other. All right.